Hello, welcome back. Staci Miller here with another webisode from 55 Degree Wine. Today, I'm not going to challenge you so much. What I mean by that is, time after time, I introduce you to grapes that chances are you've never heard of. Remember Schiapettino? Remember Falangina? Well, today, I'm a little softer on you. I'm going to have you try with me the wines that you probably already know how to pronounce. Sauvignon Blanc, Pinot Nero, Pinot Noir, and a little bit of Merlot. Why on earth am I trying wines that we might get from France or California? Because in the land of viticulture, grapes travel. Hence the big phylloxera outbreak when American grape cuttings went to Europe, but enough about that. Let me start you off with one of my truly favorite producers in the store. This is Ronco del Gelso, the Hill of the Mulberry. These guys are continuously Tre Bicchieri award-winning wines, meaning that they produce wines of distinction, wines of place. They are producing wines up in Friuli, where a lot of the varieties of wine are grapes that we actually do know. Here, as it proudly touts, is Sauvignon. Let's give it a taste and see how it's perhaps similar and how it's perhaps different. Now, Sauvignon in place does change. Sometimes you get crisp and gooseberry, sometimes you get rich and round. We're in the fertile valleys in Friuli and on the Isonzo River, where you get perfectly cool, growing climates, long hang time, meaning really ripe, rich flavors. And yes, absolutely that is there. I must tell you, I don't always get handling notes that are complete from a lot of these wineries. I try to read through the Italian, but sometimes they don't share a lot. I get richness and toastiness that could indicate a little bit of oak aging, but I have to tell you, Sauvignon generally wants to be brighter, so I'm not quite 100% sure. Perhaps it's because the grape spends time on the lees, the grape solids and the yeast used in the fermentation process. Almost didn't want to spit that one. Mouth-filling, engaging. The acidity is there to make me want to have another sip. To know that I'm going to pair it with food. Believe it or not, this is a Sauvignon that can handle richer and heartier fare. Sometimes Sauvignon would be beaten up by anything that has that richness. Finish is still with me. The flavors are still going. Slightly tropical, perhaps stone fruit, peaches, not quite apricots, and just really lively. This is a stellar wine. I'm not telling you it's a cheap and cheerful, but I am telling you it's worth every cent. Once again, from Friuli, from Ronco del Gelso, a Sauvignon. All right, on to Pinot Nero. As I said, that is Pinot Noir. And Pinot Noir is one of our most food-friendly grapes ever. This happens to be from Quattro Valle, and they call it Ca del Vento, talking about the wind in the area. And I've said to you time and time again that Emilia-Romagna is one of my favorite food-driven regions. Prosciutto, Parmesan cheese, balsamic vinegar, everything about the area speaks to food. So Pinot Noir is sort of a natural there. Let's see what happens. First of all, again, like Sauvignon, Pinot Noir changes in place. You can get it dramatically different from Southern Napa, as you can from Burgundy, as you can from Oregon. And this one is starting to just show by its color that it's going to play a little bit more to the cherry, earthy flavors that Pinot Noir can pick up. Absolutely. Bear with me. Forest berries, okay? It almost has to be evocative of place as opposed to something that you've ever actually gone into the forest and picked berries. But you get more of that brambliness as opposed to the backyard berries, sweet and delicate. There's almost a little bit of almond and spice going on as well. Let's see if it follows up on the palate. Absolutely. Again, in quintessential Italian fashion, There's enough acidity in the red wines that it's not heavily blanketing the palate with all of these fruit bomb flavors, but rather engages the palate to want to have something to eat with it. Red fruit, spice, medium to light bodied, maybe medium body, and the finish is medium. I'm not going to fool you, it doesn't have a really long, deep finish. But this is an effort of Pinot Nero from Ca del Vento and their Quattro Valle. Or Quattro Valle Ca del Vento. Did that one backwards, forgive me. On to Merlot. Okay, so skip what Sideways said. Merlot is a hugely respectable wine. A good portion of the wines out of Bordeaux, the right bank versions, are based on Merlot, and there are some exquisite domestic Merlots coming from the Napa Valley, from up in Washington State. It is a dynamite wine, usually rich, and the tannins kind of a little less structured than in our Cabernet Sauvignon. Let us see what happens when we try Merlot from up where our Sauvignon was, up in Friuli. Excuse me for just a moment. Let me take a sip here, see what's going on. This is from Damian Princik, who is the winemaker whose name prominently decorates the label. And this is his Colle Duga. He's sort of one of those rock star winemaker guys that breaks a lot of rules and makes a lot of rules. So he has what he calls a frontier laboratory, meaning he's stretching the boundaries of what his grapevines will do up in the region. And there's a lot of these guys, many of them of Slovenian and Austrian descent, making wine on the Italian side of that border. Slightly deeper color than the Pinot Noir, but not like a lot of our Napa Valley Merlots that we're looking at, or we could be looking at. A little bit of spice, a little bit of stone. Slightly floral. Again, if you will, in the spectrum of fruits, more red fruit driven than, let's say, plums or blackberries, okay? Again, the acidity is present in such a way that this is an invitee to the dinner table. Okay, so the Italians, yes they do. They make wines using grape varieties that we know, not just the oddball ones. Sauvignon Blanc from Ronco del Gelso, Pinot Noir from Quattro Valle and their Ca del Vento version, and from Damian Princik, his Colle Duga, Hill of the Forefathers, and his beautiful Friulian Merlot. Intrigued? Come on down. Taste with us 6 nights a week in the cellar. It's cozy, it's lovely. We'd love to see you there. I look forward to our next visit on the web. Staci Miller, over and out. Thank you.